But with U.S. authorities increasing security in Times Square and the NFL boosting security inside and outside stadiums on Sunday, a key focus of the shows was, could Paris happen here?
Well, we have to realize we are the main target, certainly living here in New York.
King called for an end to political correctness and for secret NSA wiretaps to be stepped up, and warned Obama administration plans to shelter thousands of Syrian refugees here are flawed.
There's virtually no vetting because there are no databases in Syria. There are no government records. We don't know who these people are.
We're still planning to take in Syrian refugees. We have very robust vetting procedures for those refugees. It involves our intelligence community, our National Counterterrorism Center, extensive interviews, vetting them against all the available information.
And with the French thinking of invoking the NATO treaty, an attack on one is an attack on all, pressure is building on the White House to go further than the airstrikes it's launched against ISIL for many months.
We don't have until the next election to deal with ISIL. There is a 9/11 coming, and it's coming from Syria if we don't disrupt their operations inside of Syria.
John Terrett, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Jason Johnson is our political contributor here at Al Jazeera America. He also is a professor at Hiram College, joining us from Washington this morning. Jason, good to see you. It used to be the battle cry was, "It's the economy, stupid." Will the battle cry now of campaign 2016 be, "It's the national security"?
Probably only for the next week and a half. And this is not in any way to diminish the tragedy of what happened in Paris. Certainly the images have been horrifying and disappointing, and they've resonated with the American people. But it's not here. And I have sincere doubts as to whether or not concerns about an attack that occurred overseas will resonate that long with American voters. As we head into holiday season, as we head into the caucuses and primaries in the spring, I think this is something people will remember, but I don't think it's going to change things that much with these candidates.
Which party does this favor? Republicans have historically been known for being hawkish. Will the events in Paris force Democrats to take a more hardline approach?
Well, I don't think you can take much more of a hardline approach in what Hillary Clinton's been doing. I mean, she is the former Secretary of State. And this is actually what makes this complicated and why I don't know that it's necessarily going to resonate that much. On the one hand, you have a former Secretary of State running for president. So clearly, she is the most experienced person on both sides as far as dealing with terrorism. But on the other hand, you have a lot of Republicans who have very, very aggressive ideas on how to deal with this terrorism. So I don't think this helps either party because it's going to depend on what the American public thinks is necessary to fight ISIS, and I don't think that's very clear yet.
Jason, then you've got Bernie Sanders and Rand Paul. Some are calling them isolationists who believe that what is happening overseas is not in the national security interest of the United States. So how will isolationists fare?
Well, I think there's always going to be a strand of Americans who say that's a problem over there and they should end up dealing with it. And the truth of the matter is, unless or until something this tragic happens in the United States again, that's a sensible belief for people to have. But here's the problem. If you look at what happened in Paris, you know, all these complaints that we've been hearing over the Sunday talk shows, well, we need to do something about Syrian refugees, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of the terrorists in Paris, they were born in Paris. They were born in Belgium. These were indigenous people. So some of the vetting and the racial profiling that's been suggested to prevent this from occurring wouldn't necessarily work in America. So I think we need to reevaluate our entire plan, both militarily and policy-wise in dealing with ISIS, because what we've done so far doesn't seem to be bringing anyone any comfort, even if it has brought us a modicum of safety.
And before I let you go, Donald Trump, Ben Carson, no political experience whatsoever. That was considered a plus before Friday's attacks. What about now? Does no foreign policy experience help or hurt those candidates?
I think amongst the Republican electorate, it's very clear it doesn't matter. You know, Donald Trump, there was just another poll that came out this weekend. Trump has extended his lead over Ben Carson. I think you have a lot of voters who just can't stand Washington, can't stand President Obama, and they like their protest votes with Trump and with Ben Carson. So I don't think this necessarily hurts them at all.
Jason Johnson, our political contributor here at Al Jazeera. Jason, thank you very much.